welcome to the Future of Europe TV show. Today, in the wake of the Future of Europe conference that took place between April 2021 and May 2022, we will have a discussion on immigration policy with Maia Khalifa Chatelain. Welcome.
Hello.
A student in the Master of International and European Law at the Catholic University of Lille. She will focus in particular on the violation of fundamental rights that are entailed by the migration management. So, Maia, what do you think, as a European law student, about the way immigration is dealt with in the core of the discussion that occurred during the conference of the Future of Europe?
Well, this issue at glance was underlined in the core of the Conference on the Future of Europe of 2022, as Europe has been facing a migration crisis since 2015, due to the Arab Spring of 2011. Since then, more than 5,000 of people have died in the Mediterranean Sea and actually continue to die. This is why this subject is prominent, as it raises many debates as per the ones held at the European Council on the 24th of June 2021. During these debates, member states did not manage to find a common ground actually on the solidarity mechanism to be put in place at a continental level. But it actually, even though there were a lot of misunderstandings between the member states, it still led to the creation of a European Asylum Agency on the 19th of January 2022. On that matter, several infringements to fundamental rights, as per in Hungary, which is a member state, were underlined by the ECHR and the CJEU. And they actually have been entailed through the limits of the system in place. Hence, this is why the Conference on the Future of Europe has taken this subject as its fourth panel, and why I believe actually that it is important to discuss on it.
Very well. What do you think will be the outcome of these meetings, and what issues are they answering?
Well, I believe that these meetings will lead to the endeavor of cooperation between the member states. There is a totally different approach between the different member states concerning this matter. As a matter of fact, Hungary was the only state to refuse to voluntarily welcome refugees and asylum seekers in 2016, while Germany, on the other hand, decided to welcome more than 2 million of refugees, actually, and of asylum seekers. Nonetheless, there is a progress in making as per the Conference on the Future of Europe. However, it must be entailed that even if there is an increasing cooperation between the member states, some countries, as per Hungary once more, qualified as an, I quote, liberal autocratic regime by Thierry Chopin, doctor in political science, do not cooperate as the respect of the primacy of the EU is at stake due to the rise of populism. This is indeed underlined as asylum exemplifies national tyranny, according to the historian Gérard Noiriel. Furthermore, as Fabienne Gazan underlines it, third country citizens have seen their right to seek asylum undermined a lot, actually, in these past years, especially in countries like Hungary or the Czech Republic. This arises in a context in which Viktor Orbán, elected head of government in 2010, member of the far-right Fidesz party, is openly, consistently against immigration, as he recently stated that Hungary was not, I quote, a mixed-race country on the 20th of July 2022. This actually emphasizes, this is emphasized in a context in which anti-migration position is one of the pillars of radical rights groups. It is their issue par excellence. Hence, the statement of Fabienne Gazan is explicitly confirmed actually by the statement of Mr. Orbán.
Okay, so you just raised the issue of Hungary, which we all know was condemned several times for not respecting EU principles, upon which the respect of fundamental rights. Can you tell us more about these infringements?
Yes, definitely. The case of Hungary actually illustrates the case of many other countries, like I said it before, which are not respecting the EU policy and established legal principles on immigration, the right to seek asylum, and the respect of fundamental rights. Concerning Hungary, this country was condemned several times both by the European Court of Human Rights and the CJEU for criminalizing solidarity towards asylum seekers while retaining them in unlawful conditions. As a matter of fact, in the CJEU joint case laws of the 14th of May 2020, FMS, FNZ, SA, SA Junior, the court stated that if following judicial review of the lawfulness of detention, it is established that the persons concerned have been detained for no valid reason, the court hearing the case must release them with immediate effect. In this case at hand, asylum seekers brought actions for failure to act relating to their detention and continuing presence in the Rochka transit zone. The fact that they were still retained there shows they recognized actually inaction of the European institutions despite their will. Indeed, during its plenary session on the 15th of September 2022, the European Parliament condemned the, I quote, deliberate and systematic efforts of the Hungarian government to undermine European values and demands. By rendering this decision, the CJU pushes actually the denunciation of the infringement of fundamental rights by Hungary, which was actually already started before by the European Court of Human Rights in the case of Ilyas and Ahmed versus Hungary of 2019. The European Court of Human Rights, in this case, actually decided to condemn the infringement to fundamental rights. Nonetheless, it did not condemn the detention as such. It actually condemned what it described as detention, as unlawful detention, but did not explicitly condemn detention, which shows the political impact on the legal field concerning this matter.
Was Hungary condemned for other infringements?
Yes, sadly yes. Hungary was condemned for the criminalization of the assistance to asylum seekers through its anti-Soros law of 2018. On this ground, any assistance provided to asylum seekers and migrants within 8 kilometers of the border coinciding with the entry into the Schengen area is punishable by 1 year in prison. Sorry. According to Viktor Orbán, head of state of Hungary, the implementation of Article 353A of the Hungarian Penal Code aimed to counter Soros's alleged activities in orchestrating, I quote, mass immigration into the EU through his NGOs. To counter this legislation, the Court of Justice asserted in a landmark case of 2021, Commission versus Hungary, that this law infringes the freedom of association as well as the freedom of expression and provides for disproportionate sanctions while infringing the obligations enshrined in Directive 2013-33 and 2013-32. Hence, the reluctance of Hungary to act within the respect of EU principles and cooperate with the other member states tends to be limited by the EU, as Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, has assertively stated in her September 14, 2022 speech, the importance of the respect of EU values.
What are the core issues that you found through your research on the answer, on the reaction of the EU? And how do you think that asylum policy and legislation will evolve in the future?
Well, to conclude, I believe that the Conference on the Future of Europe will lead to the emergence of new tools as the European Asylum Agency exemplifies it. Furthermore, the future of Europe seems to be revamped by cooperation between the member states, as they agreed on the introduction of an initial screening of migrants at the EU's borders and the extension of the Eurodac instrument which collects data, particularly biometric data. for migrants on the European soil. In fine, this statement is corroborated by the fact that in April 2022, the Commission presented a package of measures aimed at moving, I quote, from a reception policy to a skills selection policy. In the words of the Vice President of the European Executive, Margaritis Schinas. The effectiveness of these new tools will actually soon be tested as the EU is facing a major wave of migration due to current and upcoming environmental and war-related challenges.
Thank you very much, Maia, for your very enlightening research. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next episode.